got me down again.
Well, that was a little nerve-wracking. I've been driving around for a while now, getting B-roll shots of me driving and just kind of enjoying the nice day, and I stopped to get gas, and as you saw in the intro, the Porsche decided it didn't really want to accept gas for some reason, and then after not wanting to accept gas, it also decided that it didn't really want to start. But I cranked it a bunch, finally just gave it a boot full of gas while I cranked it, and it started. So now I'm a little nervous about getting home. I'm kind of far from home, and my check engine light just came on. I'm nervous that if I stall the car, I won't be able to get it started again, and of course towing it would be expensive. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But welcome back to the channel. I'm saying that to myself and to you guys. I haven't uploaded a video since the beginning of January, and I apologize. I'm definitely not meeting my goal of one video a week for the year 2022, but I am going to be better. If you have video ideas or things you want me to talk about in videos, please leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to try my best to get to those and give you guys the content that you want to see. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future updates about my Porsche 996 that I'm going to talk about today. The last update I gave you guys on this car was before the Christmas season, and I told you that I was having issues getting the trunk latch open and all those things. You can go back and watch that video if you're not sure what I'm talking about. My plan was to drive around today and talk about that, but now I'm a little worried about getting the car home safely and everything. So I'm going to really focus on driving and doing that. Once I get home, I'll tell you guys everything going on with the Porsche 996. Please stick around and enjoy today's video. All right, so now that we're back at home, the first thing I want to do is hook up my scan tool to the car to see why the check engine light is going on. I don't know if this scan tool is going to work that well because it is like a $20 one off of Amazon, but let's plug it in and see what codes it pulls. All right, hopefully it'll stay focused on that. So let's select that. Let's see what it reads. P1128 and whoops, P1128 and P1130. So I'm not exactly sure what those codes are, but I think they're basic like O2 sensor kind of codes. I'll have to look them up later. But for right now, I want to show you guys what I think the problem could be. So when I was driving, I noticed this kind of sound coming from, sounds like near the gas tank. So I'll insert the clip here of what I heard. So I don't really know exactly what that sound is, but I want to turn the car on now and try to see if I can hear from the outside what it is. So let's do that and see if we can get an idea. So of course, now that I need it to make the noise, it's not gonna do it. I don't know why. It seemed to only be doing it when I was like driving it around, sitting at a stoplight, and kind of like when the fuel draw was low on the car. So I thought it would do it sitting here. Maybe it needs to warm up some more first or something. I don't really know. It should be warm for me driving it around. But anyway, I'll come back to that issue later. Maybe I'll drive around and like insert a clip if I can get it to make the noise again. But anyway, let's talk about how I ended up getting the trunk unlatched. So I think undoing the trunk latch would have been basically impossible if my car did not have a rebuilt title and have kind of some alignment issues up front. But we were basically able to get it open by prying the front bumper off from underneath the hood. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So as I mentioned, my car is rebuilt, and so there are some alignment issues up front, and I think that ended up being a blessing for me to be able to get this off. So if you notice, my panel gap here is a little bit bigger than one you may have. The bumper doesn't quite sit like it should. In fact, if I lift it up a little bit, that panel gap kind of gets like it should be. But if you don't know, the bumper is basically held on with like 4 points. First of all, underneath here, there are 4 plastic rivets that hold on the bumper. Underneath the car, there are 3. Those were actually missing. That's what caused the bumper to come off in the first place. And then behind each side marker and in the fender liner, it mounts there as well. So to start, I was able to get all of this stuff off normally, although it was missing some of the plastic things that it needs, and it's actually still missing a couple of the fender liner rivets. Those are on order. Hopefully they'll be here soon. And then to get under here, we were able to actually take a trim tool and pry off those plastic rivets that held on the bumper underneath the hood. We just used a trim tool, basically pried them up, and it turns out there were actually a couple of them that were missing, so we only had to get 2 of them off. So essentially this bumper was like barely being held on under here and only being held on by the 2 sides. So once we pried those rivets off, we were able to pull the bumper off and get underneath the trunk latch and lift the hood up. Once the bumper was off and the hood was open, it was super easy to get to the trunk latch. There's just a couple bolts. We unscrewed those, and turns out my emergency cable had actually come unhooked from where it's supposed to attach to the trunk latch. So I was able to reattach that and actually kind of clamp it down better using some pliers, so it should never come out again. And then I was actually able to kind of build this back better than it was before, because I was able to replace all the little plastic pieces that were missing. Underneath the bumper, you know, a couple of the plastic mounting points were broken. I was able to replace those and fix those. I was able to basically fix everything that was wrong with it before. Obviously the alignment is still a little off. That's something I need to play with and kind of get some things adjusted. But I was able to build back the bumper better than it was before. And of course now the 3 bolts that hold on the bumper on the bottom that were my original problem, those have been replaced as well. So now, despite all the issues and pain it caused me, I actually do think I was able to get this better than it was before, and hopefully it will never come off again. So if you didn't know, when I bought the car, I knew the front trunk electronic release was not working. So while we fixed all the stuff with the hood latch and everything, I actually went ahead and fixed the electronic trunk release as well. And the only thing I had to do was replace the actuator. This is a part that's known to go wrong in these cars. And so let me show you, it's working now. All right. If we open up the car and pull the electronic trunk release, there it is. It popped the trunk. I can now go over here and open the trunk just like you should be able to. And there we are, my nice big yellow fluffy towel in there. So now that all that is fixed, there is still some things to address. As you can see here, this isn't quite aligned like it should be. It should be pressed in a little bit more. The fender still needs some of the plastic rivets installed again. It's the same on the other side. This part behind this side marker is actually broken, the plastic bracket that holds it on, so I need to replace it as well. Not a big deal to get those parts, just something I need to get handled, and I will eventually. But overall, I'm extremely happy that my trunk now opens and I don't have to be worried about the bumper falling off anymore or my headlights sliding out. So there you have it. That's how I was able to get the trunk latch fixed on my Porsche 996. From what I could tell from your comments on my previous videos, most of you guys that have had this issue before kind of had to do a similar thing. You just kind of had to get in there and basically pry it open, possibly break some clips. Now for me, because my car was rebuilt, a lot of that stuff was already broken and I was actually able to fix it better than it was before. So that's kind of good for me. But like I said, this may not work for most of you that are having this issue. I guess I encourage you to reach out to a body shop or something, or try to figure out another solution. But that really did seem like the only way that I was able to get it off. And I'm glad my trunk release works now as well. I was happy to share with you guys that, yay, finally my car is fixed and I can enjoy it. But now I have this other issue to deal with, I guess. But that's okay. It is a 20-year-old Porsche. I expect it to have issues. It's a bit of a project car. I bought it at a project car price. It has a rebuilt title, so these things are expected, and luckily everything that's gone wrong with mine so far has not been expensive to fix. Hopefully that's the case with whatever's happening now. But before I go, I want to tell you guys about an event coming up. if you're local to South Florida or are interested in vintage Porsches or anything like that, you're probably familiar with 996 Revival on Instagram and YouTube. Well, he's put together a little 996 meetup in South Florida on March 12th. It's gonna be at Imperial Moto, which is a kind of auto-themed coffee shop in Miami. All the details are on their Instagram, which I will link down below. I'm gonna be there, as well as pretty much everybody else I know who owns a 996 in South Florida. We're all gonna be there, well, assuming I can get this issue fixed and drive it down there. But anyway, my plan is to be there, so it'd be great if you guys can check it out. If you enjoyed the content on the car today, please hit subscribe. It really helps out my channel a lot. Hit the like button. It helps people to find the videos. And until next time, goodbye.